Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Gaurang Dhawanlal and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges youth to abandon path of militancy and work for development at rally on peace, unity and development in Assam. Prime Minister lays foundation stones and dedicates to the nation cancer hospitals in Dibrugarh, elaborates on government's vision for healthcare sector through Swasthya Ke Saptrishi. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh emphasizes self-reliance in view of ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. External Affairs Ministry says it is not opportune time for resumption of issuance of tourist visas for China due to COVID pandemic. Railways Ministry and Centre for Development of Telematics sign MOU to work together for modernization of telecommunication in Indian Railways for public safety and security services. Prime Minister to inaugurate 3-day Semicon India Conference 2022 in Bengaluru tomorrow. Also to inaugurate Global Patidar Business Summit in Surat via video conferencing. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh launches 90-day inter-ministerial campaign Azadi Se Antodaya Tak under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In Asia Badminton Championships in Manila, India's ace shuttler PV Sindhu advances to quarter-final of women's singles. And in IPL cricket, match between Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders in progress at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged the youth to abandon the path of militancy and work for the development of the country. He was addressing a massive rally on peace, unity and development at Loring Thepi village, around 75 kilometers from Dipu, the headquarter town of the Karbi Anglong Autonomous District in Assam today. Mr. Modi said the peace accord, which was signed with the 6 militant groups of this district in September last year, solved the decades-old militancy problem of this area. He said, under the historic peace accord, over 1,000 militants abjured violence and joined the mainstream of society, and the government is now rehabilitating the surrendered militants. Mr. Modi informed that under the special development package as a part of the peace accord, 1,000 crore rupees will be provided by the Union government and the Assam government for this district.
समझौते के तहत 1,000 करोड़ रुपए के अनेक प्रोजेक्ट का शिलान्यास आज यहाँ पर किया गया है। डिग्री कॉलेज हो, वेटरनरी कॉलेज हो, एग्रीकल्चर कॉलेज हो, ये सारे संस्थान यहाँ के युवाओं को नए अवसर देने वाले हैं।
The Prime Minister said the Union government is working for the welfare of the tribal people of the district and other areas of the state, and the Karbi Anglong district will be a developed district in a very short time. The Prime Minister said peace and normalcy is returning to Assam.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट में सरकार और समाज के सामूहिक प्रयासों से जैसे जैसे शांति लौट रही है, वैसे वैसे पुराने नियमों में भी बदलाव किया जा रहा है। लेकिन बीते 8 सालों के दौरान स्थायी शांति और बेहतर कानून व्यवस्था लागू होने के कारण हमें आपसा को नॉर्थ ईस्ट के कई क्षेत्रों से हटा दिया है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हिंसा की घटना में करीब 75% की कमी आई है।
Mr. Modi informed that the decades-old border issue of Assam with its neighbouring states will resolve soon with the initiatives of the Union government and the state governments. The Prime Minister today launched the Amrit Sarovar scheme for Assam at the Karbi Anglong district. Under this scheme, a total of 2,985 community ponds will be constructed all over the state. These community ponds will provide water and income generation for the rural population. Later, the Prime Minister reached Assam Medical College in Dibrugarh and dedicated the Dibrugarh Cancer Hospital and 6 other cancer care hospitals to the nation. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said cancer hospitals in Assam that were dedicated to the nation today and the ones for which foundation stones were laid today will augment healthcare capacities in the northeast as well as in South Asia. Mr. Modi complimented the Assam Chief Minister and Union Minister Mr. Sonowal and the Tata Trust for taking many steps to address this long-pending problem in Assam. He said this year's budget has envisaged a 1,500 crore rupees scheme, the Prime Minister's Development Initiative for Northeast, PM Divine. Elaborating on the government's vision for the healthcare sector, the Prime Minister talked about Swasthya Ke Saptarishi. The effort of the government is that disease itself does not arise. Yoga and fitness-related programs are going on for this reason, he said. Secondly, if disease does occur, it should be detected in the early stages. For this, lakhs of new testing centers are being built across the country. The third focus is that people should have better first aid facilities near their homes. For this, primary health centers are being improved. The fourth effort is that the poor should get free treatment in the best hospitals. For this, schemes like Ayushman Bharat provide free treatment up to 5 lakh rupees, which is being given by the government. The fifth focus is to minimize dependence on big cities for good treatment. The seventh focus of the government is digitization of health services. On the sixth point of the vision, the Prime Minister said the government is addressing the shortfall in the number of doctors. This is the spirit of One Nation, One Health, he mentioned. This spirit gave strength to the country, even in the biggest epidemic of 100 years, gave strength to deal with the challenge. The Prime Minister appreciated the Assam government for improving medical infrastructure in the state. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh today said the ongoing Russia and Ukraine conflict has once again highlighted that being self-reliant without dependencies is a vital necessity. The Indian Navy, which has been at the forefront of the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative of the government, must continue to lead the way and remain a necessary guarantor of India's maritime trade, security and national prosperity. Addressing the concluding session of the Naval Commanders Conference in New Delhi, Mr. Singh said India's maritime character and its vital geostrategic location have played a primary role in its growth as a nation and evolution as a civilization. He urged the senior leadership to maintain their focus on futuristic capability development to ensure that the nation's maritime power grows in tandem with its economic interests. Mr. Singh expressed happiness that out of 41 ships and submarines which are on order, 39 are being built in Indian shipyards. He also commended the sea warriors for their professionalism and dedication with which they continue to perform the duty of safeguarding the maritime interests of the nation.
External Affairs Ministry today said that it is not the opportune time for resumption of issuance of tourist visas for China due to COVID pandemic. Briefing media in New Delhi this evening, MEA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said China has itself suspended issue of most types of visas to Indians since November 2020. Replying to a query, Mr. Bagchi said Pakistan has no locus standi to comment on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Jammu and Kashmir. He said the reception that Mr. Modi received in J&K and the development projects that he inaugurated is a clear answer to any question that may be raised about his visit. The spokesman also said some components of Vande Bharat train are made in Ukraine, but due to the ongoing conflict, delivery schedule has been impacted. He said India is looking for options for timely delivery.
देखिए, ये इशू पे बात हुई थी. हमारे पास जितना दूर मालूम है यूक्रेन में कुछ बनाते हैं, एक्सेल्स हैं, व्हील्स हैं, इस तरह की चीजें बनती हैं वहां पे. उसके ये कंपोनेंट्स कुछ बनते हैं. वहां पे जारी जो अभी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रही है उसके चलते ये डिलीवरी शेड्यूल पे कुछ इम्पैक्ट हुआ है. पर हम देख रहे हैं क्या ऑप्शन है हमारे पास ताकि ये डिलीवरी हो जाए टाइम पे, जितनी जल्दी हो सके हम कर सके. पर एग्जैक्ट डिटेल्स और कैसे आ रही है, कब आ रही है, ये रेलवे मिनिस्ट्री बता पाएंगे क्योंकि उनके तरफ से है. पर हम कोऑर्डिनेशन में है ताकि ये कंपोनेंट्स जल्दी से जल्दी आ जाए इंडिया.
The Railways Ministry has signed an MOU with the Centre for Development of Telematics CDOT to establish a robust collaborative working partnership for coordination and resource sharing with respect to the provision of telecommunication facilities for the delivery and implementation of CDOT's telecom solutions and services in the railways. With this MOU, CDOT and the Railways Ministry will work together for the modernization of telecommunication in the Indian Railways for public safety and security services. This synergy between CDOT and the Railways Ministry will help in providing indigenous affordable telecom equipment and services for train operation, public safety and security applications by lowering the total cost of ownership. It will help to boost the Make in India initiative of the government.
The Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog today celebrated Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, commemorating India's 75 years of independence in New Delhi. On the occasion, the Ayog launched the second edition of Atal New India Challenges, including various programs. A special exhibition of 75 milestones, which defined India's innovation journey over the years, was displayed, highlighting the innovation story of the country. Speaking at the event, Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh highlighted the role of the Atal Innovation Mission, saying that institutions like the Atal Innovation Mission are working for achieving India's aim to foster innovation in different sectors of the economy. He said these institutions are providing platforms and ecosystem collaboration opportunities for different stakeholders apart from innovation. He added that the country needs to focus on those youngsters who have potential and can contribute to India achieving its goals for the country for India at the rate 100 in 2047. Steel Minister Ramchandra Prasad Singh has said that the use of plastic waste in place of coking and non-coking coal in the iron and steel industry will help in reducing pollution and converting waste into wealth. He said these industries will play a vital role towards making the planet pollution-free. Mr. Singh was addressing the inaugural session of the Plastic Recycling Conference Asia 2.0 at Gurugram today.
Union Minister for Jal Shakti Gajendra Singh Shekhawat reviewed the progress of Jal Jeevan Mission in Rajasthan in a meeting held in Jaipur today. Members of Parliament of the state and senior officials of the centre and state governments participated in the meeting. Talking to the media after the meeting, Mr. Shekhawat said more than 6 crore 20 lakh tap connections have been given in the country in the last 2.5 years after the implementation of Jal Jeevan Mission. Mr. Shekhawat said before the launch of Jal Jeevan Mission, out of 19 crore households in the country, only 3 crore 23 lakh households had access to tap water. About 16% of the households had tap connections, which has now increased to 49%. He said many states have made remarkable progress in the mission, but Rajasthan is lagging behind in this matter. The minister said initially the state was 4% behind the average of the entire country. Now the state is lagging behind the national average by 25%. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges youth to abandon paths of militancy and work for development at Rally on Peace, Unity and Development in Assam. Prime Minister lays foundation stones and dedicates to the nation cancer hospitals in Dibrugarh. Elaborates on government's vision for healthcare sector through Swasthya Ke Saptarishis. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh emphasizes on self-reliance in view of ongoing Russia and Ukraine conflict. External Affairs Ministry says it's not opportune time for resumption of issuance of tourist visas for China due to COVID pandemic. Railways Ministry and Centre for Development of Telematics sign MOU to work together for modernization of telecommunication in Indian Railways for public safety and security services. Prime Minister to inaugurate 3-day Semicon India Conference 2022 in Bengaluru tomorrow. Also to inaugurate Global Partidar Business Summit in Surat via video conferencing. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh launches 90-day interministerial campaign Azadi Se Antyodaya Tak under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In Asia Badminton Championship in Manila, India's ace shuttler PV Sindhu advances in quarter-final of women's singles. And in IPL cricket match between Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders in progress at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग हेतु संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Semicon India Conference 2022 tomorrow. This three-day event will take place in Bengaluru. The conference is envisioned as a launchpad to kickstart the country's ambition to becoming a global semiconductor hub and nurture the chip design and manufacturing ecosystem. Eminent experts from industry associations, research organizations and academia will take part in this conference. They will deliberate upon policy, talent, the government's role and efforts in creating a favorable growth environment for the semiconductor ecosystem in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Global Patidar Business Summit GPBS tomorrow via video conferencing. Sardar Dham is organizing the GPBS under Mission 2026 to provide an impetus to the socio-economic development of the Patidar community. The summit is being organized every 2 years. The first two summits were held in Gandhinagar in 2018 and 2020, and the current summit is being held in Surat. The main theme of GPBS 2022 is Atmanirbhar Community to Atmanirbhar Gujarat and India.
United States President Joe Biden has announced that he will meet India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi in May. In a statement, the White House announced that President Biden will also meet with the leaders of the Quad grouping of Australia, Japan, India and the United States in his upcoming visit to Tokyo. Mr. Biden will visit the Republic of Korea and Japan from the 20th to 24th of May to further deepen ties with them. The statement added that the trip will advance the United States' rock-solid commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. Department of Posts has started providing the National Pension Scheme NPS through online mode. Any citizen of India in the age group of 18 to 70 years can avail this online facility by visiting the website www.indiapost.gov.in under the menu head National Pension System Online Services.
Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Minister Giriraj Singh launched the Azadi Se Antyodaya Tak campaign in New Delhi today. The 90-day campaign is launched with a mission to saturate 75 districts across 28 states and union territories with beneficiary schemes of 9 central ministries. Speaking on the occasion in New Delhi, Mr. Singh said the identified districts are aligned with the birthplaces of 99 freedom fighters who made the supreme sacrifice for the nation during its struggle for independence.
आज 75 जिले में हम उन सेनानियों को याद कर रहे हैं जिनके कारण आज देश स्वतंत्रता के आंदोलन में बड़ी सफलता प्राप्त की और 9 विभाग और 17 ऐसे उनके योजनाएं हैं। तो उन योजनाओं को सैचुरेशन मोड पर ले जाना और 90 दिनों के अंदर ले जाना ये प्राथमिकता के साथ तय किया गया है। इसके लिए आज डैशबोर्ड भी बना दिया गया है जिस पर बेस डेटा और टारगेट डेटा रहेगा और इसका रियल टाइम मॉनिटरिंग होते रहेगा।
The 75 districts marginally lagging behind in the development parameters have been shortlisted through monthly per capita indicators and socio-economic caste census data.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember social reformer Madhusudan Das, who was born on the 28th of April 1848 at Cuttack district, Odisha. He founded Utkal Samilani in 1903 that successfully campaigned for the creation of Odisha on the 1st of April 1936. the first graduate and advocate of Odisha, he is also known as Kulabrudha, Grand Old Man, and Utkal Gaurab, the pride of Utkal. In Odisha, his birthday is celebrated as the Lawyer's Day on the 28th of April.
Madhusudan Das started Deshamishra Andolan and worked hard for the social, political and economic uplift of the people of eastern India. He rendered his admirable service to the nation as a very successful lawyer, social reformer and patriot. He was acclaimed as a great legislator and journalist. He was the first Odia to be the member of the Legislative Council and member of Central Legislative Assembly. He had the distinction of being the first Indian minister.
He was also an excellent orator in Odia, English and Bengali. As a writer and poet, patriotism was always at the forefront of his mind, and that was reflected in all his literary works. He penned a number of articles and poems in both English and Odia. Some of his important poems are Utkal Santan, Jati Itihash and Jananir Ukti. Jati ro unnati se kahu kariba swarte jara bakamana saguna bilua chikitsa kahele sabaki paibo sana.
Madhusudan Das died on the 4th of February 1934, and by the time of his death, he had spent all his property on the well-being of the people of Odisha. His immense contribution towards the state and nation would be admired forever. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember martyr Kehar Gajan Singh, who was beaten to death in prison by the British authorities on the 28th of April 1925. A resident of Hoshiarpur, Punjab, Singh joined the peaceful Sikh Jatha to Jaito Gurudwara, Gangsar, Nabha in 1924 against the British order prohibiting all prayer assemblies.
The Jatha was stopped by the orders of Wilson Johnston, the administrator of Nabha, and the police arrested a number of its members. Gajan Singh was also arrested and beaten to death in Nabhabir jail on the 28th of April 1925. We salute the great son of the soil.
We also remember independence activist Narayan Singh, who took part in the First War of Indian Independence in 1857. Initially a sepoy in the English East India Company Army in Khandesh, Maharashtra, Singh fought the British at different places in Khandesh. He was caught while defending the British attacks and was charged with desertion and mutiny against the British. He was sentenced to transportation for 10 years and died in the Andaman Islands on the 28th of April 1860. We salute the great son of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
FSSAI has launched Food Safety Connect app for food business operators and consumers. Download this app from Google Play Store and easily apply for FSSAI registration. Consumers can use this app to register food-related complaints.
In news just in, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka today. Addressing the media after the meeting, Dr. Jaishankar said that he conveyed personal greetings and good wishes from Prime Minister Modi to Prime Minister Hasina. Dr. Jaishankar said that India looks forward to her visit at a date convenient to her. During the meeting, Dr. Jaishankar and Prime Minister Hasina discussed issues related to the bilateral ties between the two countries, as well as regional and global issues. Dr. Jaishankar said India is waiting to welcome Bangladesh Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen on the 7th meeting of the Joint Consultative Committee, which will lay the ground to take India-Bangladesh ties to the next level. Dr. Jaishankar will leave Dhaka tomorrow for the next leg of his visit to Bhutan. More than 188 crore 40 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 19 lakh 53,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 98.74%, with 2,563 people recovering in the last 24 hours.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Kupwara police have arrested 3 terrorist associates involved in cross-line of control smuggling and transportation of arms and ammunition. During questioning, the trio revealed that they are involved in smuggling of arms and ammunition from across the LOC to further make it available to the active terrorists operating in Kashmir Valley. The investigation in this regard is going on. Further details are awaited. The first semi-final match of Santosh Trophy Football Championship between Kerala and Karnataka is underway. Kerala is dominating the session and earned a series of corners. However, both sides failed to score goals so far. In Asia Championship in Manila, India's ace shuttler PV Sindhu advanced in quarter-final, beating lowly ranked Yan Jaslin of Singapore Hui by straight sets 21-16, 21-16 in women's singles. Sindhu will face He Biang-xiao in quarter-final clash. In men's double, Indian duo Rangi Reddy and Chirag Shetty also registered a thumping straight set win over Akira Koga and Taichi Saito of Japan by 21-17, 21-15. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders were 100 for 6 in 16 overs against Delhi Capitals at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai when the reports last came in. Earlier, Delhi Capitals won the toss and chose to field first. The Sensex and the Nifty today climbed more than 1.5%. Domestic stock indices rose amid positive cues from global share markets. The Sensex at Bombay Stock Exchange closed above 57,500 points, while the Nifty at National Stock Exchange was settled above 17,200 level.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will experience a heat wave. Temperature will hover between 25 and 44 degrees. Mumbai will have mainly clear skies. The minimum temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius. The maximum is expected to be around 36. Chennai is likely to have a partly cloudy sky. Kolkata is likely to have a mainly clear sky. Srinagar will have a partly cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Jammu is expected to have mainly clear skies, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Leh will have a generally cloudy sky. Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will have a generally cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Visakhapatnam will have a partly cloudy sky. Hyderabad will have a partly cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Bengaluru will have mist. Thiruvananthapuram will have a partly cloudy sky with the possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Guwahati, Itanagar, Agartala and Gangtok will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Agartala will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges youth to abandon paths of militancy and work for development at Rally on Peace, Unity and Development in Assam. Prime Minister lays foundation stones and dedicates to the nation cancer hospitals in Dibrugarh. Elaborates on government's vision for healthcare sector through Swasthya Ke Saptrishi. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh emphasizes self-reliance in view of ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. External Affairs Ministry says it's not opportune time for resumption of issuance of tourist visas for China due to COVID pandemic. Railways Ministry and Centre for Development of Telematics sign MOU to work together for modernization of telecommunication in Indian Railways. Prime Minister to inaugurate 3-day Semicon India Conference 2022 in Bengaluru tomorrow. Also to inaugurate Global Patidar Business Summit in Surat via video conferencing. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh launches 90-day interministerial campaign Azadi Se Antodaya Tak under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In Asia Badminton Championships in Manila, India's ace Shakla Devi Sindhu advances to quarter-final of women's singles. And in IPL cricket, match between Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders in progress at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.